Hello everyone. Once again, this is Professor Roger Flores of the Department of Electrical Engineering of Central Mindanao University. Your professor of the subject ES52 Engineering Management. And today we are going to continue our discussion with this chapter 9 entitled Controlling. Okay, so this is one of the very important function of a manager to control not only the subordinates, not only the resources, but most of all, especially when it comes to financial matters. No, we are going to control the financial matters. This is very important also, a very important function. Okay, so to start with, we have this Chapter 9, Controlling, and okay. So, what is controlling anyway? So, it is defined here that it refers to the process of ascertaining whether organizational objectives have been achieved. If not, then we should have to answer why not. Why we were not able to achieve the organizational objectives or any of the organizational objectives, and determining also what activities should then be taken to achieve objectives better in the future. Okay, so this is the definition of controlling according to Higgins. No, so as we can see here, ascertaining, so that we should have to be sure of the achievement of the organizational objectives. So controlling is one of the process, no, to achieve the organizational objectives. Then determining what activities should be done, should be taken, should be undergo, or should be undergone, so that these objectives shall be achieved. Okay, so that is if we were able to find out that the objective was not achieved. No, so that is according to Higgins. No, okay, so we have to discuss next the importance of controlling. What are some of the idea? Why is that controlling is important in any organization? Okay, as stated here, it will help the organization achieve its goal in the most effective and efficient manner as much as possible. Okay, when we say effective, efficient, I think we defined that one already. No, so if we will be able to do everything and we achieve the objective, then that is efficient. And if we will be able to convert whatever resources to what is expected, then that is effectiveness. Okay, so proper control measures minimize the L effects of negative occurrences. So when we say L effects, those effects results of whatever activities that we have, yung mayroong mga problema, no, L effects, hindi magandang resulta, hindi ka nais-nais na resulta, no? So those are L effects of these negative occurrences. So what are some of these negative occurrences? Like deviations from the right track, deviations of the activity, or in other words, not in the proper procedure. Okay, deviation from the regulations, deviation from the programs. Okay, or mistakes. Okay, so from the word itself, it is understood that erroneous, solution, erroneous procedures. So those are mistakes. Okay, and then shortcomings also. So hindi natin nagawa kasi mayroon tayong mga weaknesses. So mayroon tayong kakulangan, no, ng mga kahit ano doon diyan sa implementation ng project or ng activity. Okay, so we have to have this control so that we will be able to minimize all these things. Okay, or minimize, limit all these things. Okay, deviation, mistakes, shortcomings, and so on. Okay, so those are some of the LFX, no? Then we have some steps in the controlling process. Okay, we are talking about process here, no? Establishing performance objectives and standards. Yun ang pinakauna. That supposedly this step will be done during the planning period. Okay. So, ano po yung mga, saan po dyan sa planning period or sa in the performance objectives na kailangan natin ng standards? Okay. So, unang-una, dito po tayo sa sales targets. So, dapat, if you are talking about business, if you are talking about marketing, now, by the way, marketing, baka sasabihin natin na hindi naman tayo nagba-market, no? Hindi tayo but most of these activities, most of this organization will end up to marketing, okay? Halimbawa, kahit dito sa academy, mamamarket din naman natin yung mga estudyante natin. So, we have to talk about marketing also. Okay? Kailangan tulungan natin yung mga estudyante natin makahanap ng trabaho, and that is marketing. So, we will be able to refer our student to any organization, any company, any industry, so that of course, maganda naman yung performance natin sa mga estudyante natin. It will reflect to our academic institution. Okay, so sales targets. Okay, so this will refers to quantity or monetary terms. So we have to establish the objectives and standards for this. Okay, for the next year, this is our target. For the next 5 years, this is our target. So we have to establish objectives. Production targets, quantity or quality. So we should have to set standard. When we say quantity, that is about a number. Okay, for example, for this year, we have to produce this target number. Okay, so siguro we have to produce for this year with this million of units that we can finish or produce. No, when we say quality, then you should have to consider the quality of the product. Okay, kailangan na we have to follow the standards. That is why we have this what we call this yun pong sinabi natin na ISO. Okay, international standards. Okay, that is the one of the international standard, no? So yung sa ISO. So we should have to consider these quality standards. Next is work attendance or worker attendance. That is another another objectives that you are going to set, no, or standards that you are going to set. When we say this, we have these standards, this attendance of this worker or our laborers or our employees, our subordinates. We should have to find or set an objective and standards. Hindi naman ano yan ibig sabihin minsan nga we cannot go about this, no, to the attendance of that employee, but of course we can have a program about it. Yun nga po we have to yung sinabi natin na health and safety programs of the organization to limit the absences of our workers. Okay, so setting of this attendance is of course one of the standard and objectives that we have to set, no? So to how to minimize absences, then of course we should have to relate this to our program in relation with the health and safety. Of course, safety records, no? So, sinabi na nga natin dito, no number of accidents for a given period. Kaya nga, minsan na dyan sa mga company, mga industry, mayroon sila mga signages dyan na ipapublish nila within 1 year or 365 days, 0 casualty, 0 injury, 0 accidents, no? Yun ang safety records na kinakailangan natin na we should have to set that program, no? And set that objective and standards. Supplies used. So this is in relation with quantity monetary for a given period. So we should have also to consider this one because kung sumobra na yung paggamit natin ng mga supplies, of course, it will affect to the financial matters of our company. Okay, so next we have this step is measuring actual performance. So mayroon na tayong standards, objectives, mayroon na tayong objectives, mayroon na tayong set standards, then we have to measure actual performance. Okay, yun po nga yung ni set natin, try to measure the actual performance. Okay, if we will be able to meet that standard and objectives. So comparing actual performance and objectives and standards, try to compare. So saan ba tayo? Are we having a more than 100% performance? Okay, or less? Okay, so if that is less than or more than, then you have to take necessary actions based on the results of the comparison. Pag sumobra tayo, it's maganda yon. Okay, good performance kasi sumobra yung performance output natin, no? Based on the objectives and standard. Pero pag nagkulang, if we were not able to meet the standard and objectives, if we cannot attain the standard and the standards and the objectives, then we must have to take actions about this. Okay, so maybe corrective measures that you are going to do when it comes to thinking of any actions for that result of the measurement of our actual performance. Okay, so we have this graph, no, or block diagram. Unang-una po, makita natin dito sa taas, no. So ito po, we have this established performance, objectives and standards. Pangalawa nga po dito, measure actual performance. Okay, so measure actual performance, then we should have to use any tool, no, measurement tools, no, in other words. Then we have this question, does actual performance match the standard or the objective? Okay, so if yes, then do nothing. This is a feedback. Then continue. Maybe next time try to next year also make a measure actual performance, conduct also this measuring of this actual performance. Then another go back to, does actual performance match the standard? If no, then take a corrective action about this. Okay, saan po ba tayo medyo nagka-problema? Saan po ba yung mga weak points natin? Siguro if sabihin natin, okay, nagka-problema nga po tayo dito sa mga makinarya natin, sa mga machines natin, o di kaya sa operator natin. So pag mayroong problema or weak natin dito sa mga weak point natin dito sa operator, so siguro sa management, ano ba yung gagawin natin? Siguro we have to send, okay, siguro we have to make a program to send our operators to training, additional knowledge with regards to the operations and operating that machine. Okay, if the machine is our weak point, our weak problem, then we should have to, of course, maybe we have to think of buying new machines or additional machines to continue our good performance. Okay, so that is steps in the controlling process. Types of control. Meron po tayong sinabi ditong feed-forward control. Ano po ba itong feed-forward control? When anticipate problems and prevents the occurrences. Okay, so we know what is anticipating, no? Hindi pa nangyari, we have to do something about it. Okay, so and prevent so that failures, that problem might not be or will not happen, so we have to have this feed-forward control. Yun bang sinabi natin na proactive, no? Proactive. Yung uunahan natin yung problema. And how to do that? Then we should have to do this feed-forward control. Okay, so next we have this concurrent control. When during operations, okay, or nagsimula na yung operation natin, then activities to detect variances are made. Okay, ongoing yung operation natin, we should have to check, we have to measure, we have to determine what are some of these problems o nangyayari while we have this operation. Ito po yung tinatawag natin concurrent control. If we found out that there is a problem during operations, siguro mahirap naman natin ihinto natin yung operation kasi nagsimula na tayo. Siguro we have some corrective measures to check or to ano po ba, to correct and to siguro to correct our operational system. So, yun, concurrent control yan. Or mayroon tayong tinatawag na feedback control. Okay, so this feedback, maybe sources of feedback is our clients, our customers, or our employees, our operators. Okay, so those people or those entity will be our sources of our feedback. Now, ngayon, so it will happen if we have already this product, for example, if the feedback is from the customers and or the clients. So, ito po yung mga feedback galing sa customers, from the buyers, from the operators. So, we have to listen their feedback also. So, that is why in some agency, some organization, mayroon silang feedback box, no? Mayroon silang mga paraan na makuha nila yung mga feedback ng mga users natin, end users natin. So, when information is gathered about the completed activity, so we have that very important word here, completed activity or production, no? And in order that evaluation and steps for improvement are derived. So, feedback is necessary. Okay, so we have these types of control in relations to operations. Unang-una po nga dito, we have pre-operations phase. Bago the company will operate, the industry will operate, then we have some control that we should have to do. So maybe feed forward control. These are some of the information that might be considered in pre-operations. Or even during pre-operations from the concurrent control also. Okay, while our operation is ongoing, so we have this. We can use this control system to before we have to start next time our operation. So pre-operations phase or feedback. Okay, halimbawa every year we have our maintenance. Then yung kung ano ba yung i-maintain natin. So, siguro kailangan natin ng feedback from the operators. From the previous operations, no? So, previous information from the operator or from the sources of that feedback. So, pwede natin na gagawin natin yan sa pre-operations phase. Then, actual operations phase. Pwede yung sa concurrent, okay? Or post-operations phase, yung after ng operation. So, mayroon tayong tinatawag na feedback control here. So, pag makita niyo dito, mayroon tayong ang arrow natin, no? Yung mayroon tayong back arrows here. So, pwede natin during operations, mayroon tayong feedback from the pre-operations. Yun nga po, baka sabihin natin na, yun nga alam na natin yan nangyayari yan doon sa pre-operations pa lang, wala tayong ginagawa. So, gagawin natin. So, pwede natin doon gagawin sa post-operations na. Okay, so we have these relations to operations when it comes to these types of control. Okay, next topic, we have these components of organizational control system. Yung una dito is yung strategic plan. That is one of the component of the control system. This provides strategic planning will provide the basic control mechanisms for the organization. Okay, so ano po ba yung mga basis natin to make strategic planning? Of course, those feedback controls. Okay? So, ganito po yung nangyayari noon. So, we have to take action. We have to take planned activities to solve this problem last time. So, we should have to make this and to correct this during strategic plan. And then when there are indications that activities do not facilitate the accomplishment of the strategic goals, these are either set aside, modified, or expanded. Okay, so ano po ba yung mga activities natin last time that we set during the strategic plan? Then if it is effective, then we should have to maybe apply it again today. Copy-paste lang po yan. Pero kung hindi yan effective, and then we should have to decide whether to modify, to reinforce, or set aside. Or if baka kunti lang yung problema, so we should have to expand. Okay. Next activity is the long range financial plan. So this is in relation with the financial matter. Planning horizons differs from the company to company. Okay. So yung sa planning horizons when it comes to financial planning, it depende po yun sa company, no? So company to company, yun po ang sinabi nga po dito. Most firms are satisfied with 1 year. Okay, so financial plan. So siguro para hindi naman masyadong we will not wait for several years to check our financial status, then we should have to make it yearly evaluation. Or engineering firms will require longer term financial plans. Okay, of course, when we say engineering firms, because we might buy heavy equipments and we cannot recover that one, the amount we cannot recover that the amount that we expense for buying these heavy equipments, materials, buildings, or that properties in just 1 year. No, so we should have to consider it in a longer financial plan that we have here. Okay, next, the operating budget. Okay, when we say operating budget, this is during operational, and this is operational expenses. So this is another component, no, in organizational control system. How much? Okay, so how much is the budget for this year? How much is the expenses that we have done last time? So we have to think that operating budget. Ano ba yung mga operating, no, mga expenditures natin yan that indicates expenditures, revenues, collections, magkano po ba yung ginansya natin, or hindi kaya deficit for last year. Then we have to study this one. We have to plan these profits and this financial during operations. Okay, so for some future period regarding the operations. Okay, another one. So we have these figures appearing in the budget are used as standard measures or measurements for performance. Okay, so ano po yung mga figures na lalabas diyan sa expenditure, expenses, revenues, collections, and even the profits, then that will be the basis of or measurements of our standards and objectives. Okay. Next component, performance appraisal. Okay, so we have the performance appraisal. Ano po ba yan? Measures employees' performance. Unang-una po yan. Kailangan that we have to try to measure the performance of our employees, our subordinates, so that we'll be able to know kung ano bang nangyari doon sa performance nila. Are we still in a good do we have good performing employees? O di kaya medyo lazy na yung mga empleyado natin? O kapag pag mahina na yung trabaho performance nila, ano kaya ang dahilan? So we should have to consider this one also. Provides employees with a guide on how to do their jobs better in the future. Okay. So, saan po ba tayo medyo weak yung performance natin? Then that will be our guide. Doon tayo mag-concentrate. O, saan po ba tayo nagkamali? So, when it comes to employee performance, then doon tayo mag-concentrate. we have to correct that one or we have to reinforce that one. Then next, we have the functions as effective checks on new policies and programs. Okay, that will be the basis of our new policies. And we have that is the basis of new programs that we are going to plan and to establish. Okay, labor efficiency rates. That is another component. Quality control rejects. Nako. So, marami tayong quality rejected materials, no? So, accounts payable. Malaki na yung payable natin, malaki na yung binabayaran natin. Sales reports o yung sa market natin, yung marketing natin, malaki na yung or maliit na yung sales natin for this year. So we should have to think about this. Okay? So accidents reports, malaki na yung nangyayari dyan. Mga aksidente, injuries ng company while doing this operation. Okay? Power consumptions reports. These are the things that we have to consider. Okay? As part of the component of organizational control system. Okay, baka malaki na yung konsumo natin, your energy consumption, demand natin, power demand. Bakit nga ba? Baka mayroon tayong problema doon sa energy utilization. So, try to check. Okay? So, these are the things na tinawag natin na statistical reports and another component of organizational control system. Ulitin ko po, yung labor efficiency rates. Okay. Yung quality control rejects or rejected, isinauli sa atin kasi hindi maganda yung quality ng ating produkto. Yung receivables natin baka lumiit na. Or yung binabayaran natin baka lumulubo na. Or yung sales natin baka humihina. Or dumarami yung mga na-aksidente or injuries. Okay. So, or lumalaki yung mga konsumo ng energy natin, energy consumption natin. So, bakit nga ba? So, these are some of the statistical reports that we need, which is another component of control system. Okay, policies and procedure, try to review also. And we define what is policy. This refers to the framework within which the objective must be pursued. Okay, ano po ba yung mga paraan natin? Ano po ba yung mga palisiya natin? How to achieve these objectives? O paano natin ma-achieve yung objectives? Ano po ba yung mga policies na we have to pursue and we have to follow? Then procedure also, it is a plan that describes the exact series of action, step by step. That is procedure. Okay, this is the first thing that we are going to do. This is the second thing that we are going to do. And third, and so on and so forth. We have this step-by-step procedure or solution of achieving our standards and objectives. So, it's exact series of actions. Because if we have something that we have done which is not necessary and erroneous, then it will block the procedure, and this might result to achievement of our objectives and standards. Okay. Another thing that when we say control system is this strategic control systems, financial analysis. It is just fitting the certain measurements of financial performance be made so that whatever deviations from standards are found out, corrective measures may be introduced. So, dito na po tayo sa financial analysis. Now, take note, managers, engineer managers, that we might say, hindi ko naman yan trabaho, manager ako dito, hindi ako accountant. Even though we are not an accountant. Okay, we are not an accountant. But, of course, being a manager, we should know and we should have to understand the financial analysis. A review of the financial statements which or will reveal important details about the company's performance. Okay? So, pag mayroon tayong makikita dito, mayroon tayong problema when it comes to financial, then we should have to do and we should have to what we call this one, tell our inside the COA, Commission on Account, okay, so yung sa accounting natin, no? So, yung sa insider, okay, do this, do double time, do checking about our financial situations. So, if not, then if there is something problem within the accounting procedures, then our company maybe can avail the outsider. Okay, we have several accounting firms that will help us in the analysis of our financial situations. Okay, so that is accounting firms. Income statement also contains information about gross income, expenses, and profits. Okay, so those are the what we call as the income statement. Okay, so that contain ano po ba yung content na information dyan sa income statement? Gross income, gaano kalaki yung mga receivables natin, yung sales natin, gross, and then determine also or we will know also from that income statement the expenses, magkano ba yung nagasto natin for the whole year for this specific period. Then that will also tell us how much is the profit. Of course, that is one thing that we are going to, the most important thing that we are going uh, to oversee the profits. Kung wala naman lang tayong profit sa business natin, kahit anong business, di hinto natin. Okay? Kasi in any business, in any marketing organization, we should have to look for profits. Okay. Another strategic control system is financial ratio analysis. Okay, so this is the job again of the accounting or the accountant, but we should have to see to it that we understand what they have or what they have done. Okay, is a more elaborate approach used in controlling activities. We have mayroon tayong tinatawag na ratio analysis. Okay, we will discuss all these ratios or ratio analysis later. Okay, one account appearing in the financial statement is paired with another to constitute a ratio. Okay, so yung mga statement data that we can get from that financial statement, the gross, the expenditures and the profits, all this data could be paired, no? Pwede natin i-pair natin yan to determine this different ratio analysis. When divisions, explanations are sought in preparation whatever action is necessary. Pag nag-deviate na yan, pag malaki na yung ratio, pag hindi ka nais-nais or unpleasant na yung resulta ng ratio natin, then we need explanations and so that we will be able to know what actions and corrective measures that we are going to perform. Okay, so financial ratio analysis here, we have some categories. We have liquidity ratio, we have efficiency ratio, we have financial leverage, we have profitability ratio. So those are some of these ratios that we are going to do. Okay, so pag-usapan natin yan one by one. Okay. Okay, so we have this first liquidity ratios. Okay. Ano po ba itong liquidity ratios? We have assessed the ability of a company to meet its concurrent obligations. Okay, marami tayong mga current obligations, yung binabayaran natin. Okay, unang-una, ano po ba? Pag-usapan natin itong current ratio as one liquidity ratio. Okay, type or category of liquidity ratio, current ratio. This shows the extent to which current assets of the company can cover its current liabilities. Okay, so we have these current assets. Ano po ba yung mga assets natin? Halimbawa, hindi po yung kagandahan natin. Anyway, that is personal asset. Ano po ba yung mga company current assets natin? Yung building, yung planta natin, yung mga equipment natin. Those are some of our current assets. The real assets. Yun po ang tinatawag natin na real company assets. Ano po ba yung current liabilities? Ay yung pong binabayaran natin. Tax, salary and wages. Okay. Ano po ba yung iba pa? Yung mga rentals natin. Pag nagre-renta tayo ng opisina, pag nagre-renta tayo ng equipment, yun po yung mga current liabilities natin. Okay, so ito po yung formula. Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. So ibig sabihin, pag malaki ito, then maganda yung performance ng financial natin. Okay? Pag malaki, kasi malaki yung asset natin eh. Pag i-divide natin yung asset natin with these liabilities, okay, if malaki ang resulta, malaki yung resulta dito, is di maganda yung financial performance natin. Okay? Next, we have asset liquidity ratios. Okay, ito po, isa pa itong klase or category ng financial ratio analysis. Of course, this liquidity ratio, based on the liquidity ratio, ito po tinatawag natin pangalawa, asset test ratio. Kailangan ba natin ng ASIDO dito? Hindi. It is a measure of the firm's ability to pay off certain obligations with the use of current assets and without relying on the sale inventories. Yun bang ratio natin dito, yung binabayaran natin yung mga yung kailangan babayaran na hindi natin hinihintay yung mga sales natin, yung mga collectibles natin. So ibig sabihin malaki yung asset natin dito. Okay? So yung current assets, okay? Yung current assets, sinabi ko na kanina, ano po ba yung mga current assets? So ulitin ko po, yung planta natin, yung real assets natin, no? Real assets, no? So yung mga planta, makinarya, heavy equipments, okay, yung lupa natin, parang ganon. So we have that any other current assets, no? Minus inventories. Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng inventories dito? Yun po bang yung mga stocks natin? Synonymous po yung inventories ng stocks. Of course, nandun sa mga warehouses natin, mayroon tayong mga inventories, mayroon tayong mga stocks doon. So, gaano karami yung inventories? So, ibig sabihin, yung current assets minus the stocks natin, yung inventories natin. Then, i-divide natin doon ang current liabilities. Pag malaki po ito, then maganda yung performance ng yung company natin when it comes to financial. Okay? Ito po yung tinatawag natin na asset test ratio. Current assets, real assets, minus the stocks, yung nandoon sa mga warehouses natin, yung mga inventories natin, divide by the liabilities, yung dapat babayaran natin, operational expenses, and others, taxes and others, no? So that is asset test ratio. Ulitin ko po, pag malaki yung resulta natin ito, maganda yung performance natin. Okay, so we have this efficiency ratios. Okay, yun, iba na naman to, no? So efficiency dito siguro ang ibig sabihin nito yung performance natin, no? Efficiency performance. So when it comes to financial, relate it to financial. Shows how effectively certain assets or liabilities are being used in the production of goods and services. Okay, halimbawa, yung assets natin, yung capital natin, yung pera natin, or even with respect to liabilities, try to relate this one. Try to make a ratio with regards to the production of goods and or even in our services if our output is, if our product is services. Okay? So, mayroon tayong isa dito. Number 1, inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover ratio. Again, inventory means yung stocks natin. Yung nandoon sa bodega natin. Measures the number of times an inventory is turned over or sold each year. Gaano kabilis? Okay, gaano karami yung na ibenta natin, no? Na ibenta natin na stocks or supplies. Okay. Inventory turnover ratios. Cost of goods sold, okay, divide by the inventory. Okay. Yung sales natin, no? Cost of goods. Okay. Gaano kalaki yung naibenta natin. Okay? Yung collectibles natin. Then try to make a ratio with it with the inventory or the stocks. Yung naiwan doon sa bodega. Okay. So pag malaki yung resulta dito, malaki or marami yung naibenta natin, so we are performing good financial status, or we are performing, our company is financially in good performance. Okay? So inventory turnover ratio, malaki yung naibenta kaysa naiwan doon sa bodega. Okay, so next, we have this fixed asset turnover. Fixed asset turnover, used to measure utilization of the company's investment in its fixed assets, such as plants and equipment. Okay, so ito po, example po yan, ang planta at saka yung mga equipment natin, yung mga makinarya natin. Yun po yung tinatawag natin na fixed real assets. Okay? So, our fixed assets turnover, that is number 2, types of efficiency ratios. Okay. Okay, so we have this net sales divided by net fixed assets. So, yung net sales natin, nakuhanan na natin ng yung mga expenditures, okay, from the gross minus expenditures, yun po yung tinatawag natin na net sales. Divide by the net fixed assets. Okay, yun pong mga net fixed assets niyan. Bali, ibig sabihin, we have already deducted all the operational expenses ng mga assets natin. So, yung mga equipment, halimbawa, mayroon naman tayong mga expenses niyan. Halimbawa, yung fuel, yung salary ng mga operators. So, kunan natin ng mga ganyang mga expenditures, then that is now already your next fixed asset. Okay? So, we have another one, financial leverage ratio. Ito na po, pangatlo na po ito, financial leverage ratio. It is a group of ratios designed to assess the balance of financing obtained through debt and equity sources. Of course, alam natin yung debt, yung utang. Yan nga po, utang yan. So, yung sinabi nating equity, yun pong amount na binayad natin. Okay? So, okay, meron tayong isang situation dito. So, anong ibig sabihin ng equity amount, no? So, halimbawa, pag mangungutang tayo sa isang appliance center, halimbawa, sige, mag-utang tayo ng motorcycle. Okay. Pag ang amount ng motorcycle is halimbawa 150,000. Okay. Hindi natin uutangin yung exactly 150,000. Okay? Siguro we have to provide a cash amount of 50,000 para yung uutangin natin is only 100. So, saan po ba dyan ang equity? Yung 50,000. We have to pay 50,000 and that is your equity amount. Okay? So, yan po ang tinatawag natin na equity sources. Okay? So, yan nga po. Halimbawa, mag-loan tayo sa Pag-ibig. Okay, sa mga lending institution. Okay, pag mag-apply tayo ng house and lot. Okay. So, halimbawa, yung house and lot loan natin is worth to 10 million. Hindi nila yon ibibigay pag wala tayong equity. So, kailangan tayo ng equity, a certain amount, so that ibigay nila yung loan natin. Okay? So, number 1 here is debt to total assets ratio. Shows how much of the firm's assets are financed by debt. Okay, so debt total assets ratio. This is a ratio, and to determine how much is the assets of the company na inutang natin. Okay, so siguro we should have to agree that walang kumpanya na walang utang. Okay? Walang kumpanya na walang utang. I do not know and how this company performing a very good performance kung wala tayong utang. Ang iba pa nga, inutang yan. Kahit mayroon silang pambayad, inutang pa rin yan just to roll that amount to be our capital, an asset, financial asset or cash assets. Okay. So we have this debt to total assets ratio. Total debt, total utang natin with the total assets. Okay. So we have this pag malaki ito, siguro mayroon tayong problema. Okay, hindi maganda. Okay, kaya nga tinatawag natin financial leverage ratio. Kasi we are not performing good. Our company is not performing good pag makita natin na itong debt to total assets ratio ay masyadong malaki. Ibig sabihin, malaki yung utang natin kumpara doon sa total assets natin. So, we are not performing good when it comes to financial. Okay, next, number 2, we have times interest earned ratio. Ayun, so times interest, loan na tayo sa interest. So, measures the number of times that earnings before interest and taxes cover or exceeds the company's interest expense. Okay, so malaki yung expenses natin, lalo na doon sa mga interests natin kapag inutang yan, kasi po pag malaki itong resulta dito, profit before tax, okay, hindi pa natin kinuha ng tax, minus interest expenses, and then divide by the interest expenses. Okay, yung mga expenses natin, yung mga interest natin, dahil doon sa mga expenses natin. So, profit before tax minus the interest expense, divide by the interest expense. Whatever results here, then we are not, pag malaki ang resulta dito, again, that is another example of financial leverage status. We are not performing well, in our company is not performing well when it comes to financial. Okay, iba pa dito, we have this measure how much operating income, profitability ratio. Measure how much operating income or net income is available to generate in relation to its assets. Okay, so owner's equity and sales. So unang-una po dito, we have this profit margin ratio. Ano po itong profit margin ratio? Of course, pinag-usapan natin yung ginansya po dito. Okay, alam niyo po ba yung ginansya? Yung profit, of course. Compares the net profit to the levels of sales. Okay, so net profit divided by net sales. Pag malaki po ito, maganda. Okay, maganda yung negosyo natin, profitable, yun po. So, continue if we have this good performance of our marketing, for example, our finances, financial performance. Pag malaki yung resulta dito, mas maganda. Net profit divided by net sales. Okay, next, we have another, number 2, return in asset ratio. Okay, shows how much income the company produced or produces for every piso invested in assets. Yun po bang return of investment? Okay, gaano ba kalaki yung na-return natin? Okay, so malaki po ba yung natanggap natin from this amount of capital? Okay, so net income divided by assets. Okay, ito po yung return on asset ratio. Okay, gaano kalaki yung income natin? Pag i-divide natin ng asset natin, pag malaki yung resulta, good performance po tayo. Ibig sabihin, profitable yung negosyo natin. Okay, number 3, return on equity ratio. So, measures the return on the owner's investment. Okay, ano po ba yung mga in-invest natin? Of course, yung cash capital natin, yung property natin na in-invest natin. Pag malaki po ito, mas maganda. Malaki yung return ng in-invest natin. Yung equity natin. Yung sabi ko po kanina, yung equity natin. By the way, yung equity, yung example ko po kanina, yung similarity ng equity ratio, yung pera doon, yung sinabi natin pera. Hindi lang lahat yung pera lang lahat ng pinag-usapan natin na equity. Pwede ring mga materials, pwede ring mga equipment, pwede rin yun, yung mga real assets natin, yung mga fixed assets. Okay? measures the return on the owner's investments. Okay, so baka yung ininvest nyo, yung mga heavy equipments nyo. So that is considered as return on equity ratio. If we are going to divide this net income, alam natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng net. Kinuha na natin ng expenses, operational expenses. So we have this net income. Kinuha na natin ng mga operational expenses like rentals, energy, yung sa kuryente, yung sa salary, yung mga rentals, pang ganon. Pag yung net income, i-divide natin ng equity, ang result ay malaki, mas maganda yung negosyo natin. It is profitable. Okay, so identify control problems. So we have this one. So we have to try to identify control problems. Okay, 3 approaches in identifying control problems. Number 1, so we have this executive reality check. Ano bang nangyari doon sa mga properties ng mga empleyado natin? Okay? Baka yung mga empleyado natin, lumulubo yung mga property nila, yung mga personal nila na mga property, or di kaya ay nakabili ng mga milyon-milyon na mga sasakyan. Marami yung mga real properties nila. So try to check this one. Baka galing yan sa company natin. Comprehensive internal audit, of course. Let your internal COA, your internal audit nyo, kailangan natin yan na they should have to perform well. Okay? Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, kahit manager tayo, kahit tayo ang ulo sa company, we are the chief executive, but we should have to understand also this one. Let this internal audit, yung internal COA, let them work comprehensively. Okay? So, try to check also we have this what we call a general checklist of symptoms of inadequate control. Baka mayroon tayong problema, try to have this or use this checklists. Okay? So, ayun. Mayroon tayong problema dito. Okay. Common symptoms of inadequate control. Unang-una, unexplained decline revenues and profits. We cannot explain, no? Yung hindi natin ma-explain na declining, yung lumiliit na mga revenues, yung mga receivables, and lumiliit na yung profits natin. Ano bang nangyari? Ba't lumiliit? Okay, so that is inadequate symptoms, no? Then, degradation of services. Nako, maraming reklamo doon sa mga services, lalo na yung output natin, yung product natin is services. Nako, masyadong hindi na komportable, at saka marami ng hindi magagandang sinasabi yung mga clients at saka yung mga customers natin. Degradation of services. Okay? Okay, so employee dissatisfaction. Ito nga po. Dissatisfied na yung empleyado natin. Bakit kaya? Okay, so siguro sa work places nila, hindi sila komportable, masyadong maingay, mainit, o hindi makapagtrabaho kasi there might be a problem in safety and health, no? O di kaya sa mga benefits na natanggap nila. Baka marami tayong hindi na naibigay ng mga benefits doon sa mga empleyado, o wala tayong mga extra company services like health, like transportation, home or house accommodation, so on and so forth. So those are some of the sources of dissatisfaction. Then cost shortages caused by bloated inventories. Doon marami yung naiwan doon sa mga doon sa mga ano ba yan? Sa mga stocks natin. Okay, sa mga tambakan natin, do marami yung mga stocks, but maraming hindi natin naibenta. So mayroon tayong problema. Okay, bloated inventories, do maraming mga stocks doon sa warehouses natin. So take note of that. That is common symptoms of inadequate control. Idle facilities or personnel. When we say idle, walang ginagawa yan. So do marami yung standby na mga facilities. Ba't nag-standby yan? Di ba pag binili natin yan, mayroon niyang trabaho, mayroon niyang purpose. Bakit ngayon wala itong trabaho? Okay, personnel. Okay, nakatunganga lang. Bakit maraming nakatungangang mga empleyado dyan? Bakit walang? Maraming walang ginagawa. So these are some of the inadequate control symptoms yan. Excessive costs. Okay, lumulubo yung binabayaran natin, yung kuryente, yung mga rentals, yung mga taxes. Bakit lumalaki? Okay, so ayun. Evidence of waste and inefficiency. Like for example, binabalik ng mga produkto natin. Ba't dumarami? O di kaya marami yung nagkamali na hindi standard, no? Substandard na mga materyales, nagiging waste na yan kasi nagreklamo na yung mga customers o mga clients natin, nagiging waste yan. So ibig sabihin yung output natin baka nakaproblema tayo sa quality control. Okay, so ayun, dumarami yung mga evidences ng mga waste saka inefficiencies in producing our products. Okay, so those are the things, those are the control system that we are going to consider. Plus, that is very important. Okay? Being a manager, an engineer manager, head of office, chief executive, then we should have to think about this control. Okay, not only controlling personnel, not only controlling our human resources, but we should have to control our materials at the same time, control our financial status of the company. Baka malaki na yung lugi natin, wala pa tayong ginagawa. No activity, no company, industry, agency, even an academy that not looking forward to the good performance of the output financially and even quality of the product. Wala po yun. Wala. Kasi pag mayroon, ay nako, hinto na tayo. So, class, thank you very much. And I hope that you learn many things when it comes to controlling. This is our chapter 9, controlling. So, one of the function of the engineer manager. Okay? So, if you think that you learn something, then try to subscribe my YouTube channel for and then click that notification bell and then try to share so that next time if I have some new video uploaded, you will be notified. Again, thank you very much and God bless. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless us all.